Namaste, it's Charmaine.
Namaste, it's Mirna.
And we're back with you for another hopefully fun-filled, enlightening session. Today, I suppose we wanted to talk about the topic of depression. So I think Mirna's got something you'd like to share with us on that subject.
Yeah, I've been talking to my friends even at work in different places about depression, and it seems such a common theme. When I have gone through depression, where I even felt suicidal, and I don't know if you ever felt, but I feel like a curtain of, past things, present things, disappointment in life, disappointment in people, disappointment in the world, the injustice, the mistreatment of animals, the mistreatment of human beings, the system, the banks and corporations being so greedy and just destroying, but at the same time people at the lower levels not thinking and not really loving themselves and loving others. And that really I really don't want to live in this world anymore. I just want to go. I just don't want to be here. I cannot do anything about it. And that kept me so depressed, sad and depressed, and I didn't want to be here. But luckily for me, I started listening to Krishnamurti because of a friend told me. I was listening, reading other things and doing a lot of stuff to try to. I never wanted medicine though.
Yeah.
I never wanted to take any medication, and but listening to Krishnamurti say, observation is what really saved me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever felt depressed at all.
To be quite honest, I don't know if I recognised it or actually was honest about how I was feeling at the time, because I've been through periods, elongated periods where I just felt like I couldn't get out from under the covers. I was weighed down, similar to yourself. I just felt it was insurmountable, and how was I ever going to rise to the top? And then you're totally pummeling yourself with all these negative kind of thoughts, and there seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel. And then it really just takes stop, deep breath. I need to really be aware of the thoughts that are coming in my mind, and I need to really start to recognise them, accept the way I'm feeling, and diffuse them, and challenge them as well, to say, well, is it true? No, those thoughts are not true. They're not defining me as that person.
Walk me through what you actually did. So you have this thing in your head, and then what happened? What do you think? What do you do?
And you know what? Like with the readings that we're doing with mindset and stuff, it was not only in my head, it was a body feeling. It was a total brain, heart, your whole body. The sensation of depression just is a body thing. So I suppose the first thing I had to do was, I had really big crying sessions, and then you just get so exhausted, and then you come to a point where, right, I'm exhausted crying, there's got to be some other way. And that's where reading things, looking up YouTube, talking to friends, connection is probably my saviour. Connecting with people, being able to be vulnerable and talk to them openly in a safe space about this is how I'm feeling, and not to be judged, not to be made to feel like it's your fault, but also not to be, to also have people that have the courage to say, Shah, you need to pull yourself up now and think of a better pathway, because you're worth it. You need to just challenge how you're thinking, and that's helped me tremendously, challenging my thoughts.
And I think when we get into that pattern of I am depressed, I am sad, I am this, it's kind of like you enjoy, it's a perverse enjoyment of that feeling where you actually enjoy that. I mean, I know it's quite perverse, and people may not understand that, or people may actually relate to it and feel like,
you get
I am entitled. I'm entitled to this. I feel like I am the victim. I have suffered so much. People have done so much, bad things to me, and my childhood was terrible, and blah blah blah. But what I realize is that, and the whole system, is systematic it's a systematic kind of education and health, like even it's environmentally where people on TV and the doctors are saying depression is a mental illness. I don't think it is a mental illness, and when you say it's a mental illness, people don't take responsibility for themselves to say, I can do something about it, instead of taking medication. So we become dependent on the system, make the pharmaceutical companies richer, and you actually, because taking medication destroy also your, the other parts of your body, because we are just one whole system. It's not only the brain, it's not only the eyes, it's not only the stomach. They all connected. And if you take something for the brain, for the depression, also affects other parts of the body.
And also with regards to the non-violent communication that we're learning about, it's all about compassion.
To yourself.
About compassion, self and others, self-empathy, empathy of others, compassion. So when we're feeling like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, blah, blah, that's where we pull ourselves up and go, I kind of stuffed up, it's okay, I'm a good person, I'm going to have compassion in this moment for myself and others, and then it tends to just diffuse things. It takes a lot of practice to get there.
And also because sometimes you just focus.
Yeah.
Listen to my word, focus. Focus. Some people have difficulties understanding what I'm saying, but I'm saying focus. Focus on the fact that it's not only you who exist. I know that I am the most important person for me, but also focus on other people as well to help others, because if you give and you are grateful as well, then you stop thinking about yourself.
That's the key thing as well, gratitude. Gratitude helps lift you out of depression. And actually years ago when I went through a relationship breakup, I was in the world of hurt. I was indulging and just enjoying waiting in the sorrow, and and that was like forever. It felt like days and days and days. And a friend of mine, beautiful friend of mine, actually gave me a gratitude diary, and she said, look, just try this, just write 3 things per day that you're grateful for, and my God, it worked.
And you ended up writing 10 or 20?
But the beautiful thing is you've got that to flip through in moments where you're feeling a little bit weakened. You just flip through that and you remind yourself of all the great things that you have in your life.
Yeah, because sometimes we are just self-indulgent, but when you, and it's not about comparison, but if you realize what you have, I mean, for instance, look at this painting, I love this painting, I'm in love with this, how lucky you are. The fact that we have a job, we have family who loves us, and we have family that we love, or friends that we love, because at the end of the day, it's not the people who love us, it's the people who we love that are important, really. Because a beautiful man can come to you and say, I love you, Sha, and you can say, I don't care, I don't love you, go away. So it doesn't really matter. But if you love him, then he matters to you.
That's right, it's a connection.
It's a connection, exactly. But I think we have to stop being self-indulgent, and you can be a little bit self-indulgent now and then, go to the shop and buy something nice, but also really, really love yourself, because I actually didn't understand what loving yourself is, and it's not about pleasing yourself with things. Oh no, I have to look after myself, I'll go and have a massage, or I'll go. It's not about that. It's not about the external things that you can do for yourself. It's about saying, this poor bugger is in pain, what can I do to stop that pain? And you can do it like this. You don't have to wait, one day I'll be not depressed, one day I'll be happy. You have to say, this stop now. I'm closing this door of depression and sadness. I'm going to close it. I'm going to smile and start dancing, start singing, whatever makes you, feel the joy. Just do it. And the depression will go away.
That's right. And it might take a little bit of bravery, little moments, baby steps. But once you practice and do those baby steps every day,
because it will come back. It will come back.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not that you will stop it only once, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And because I know that I have friends who say, my childhood was crap. Sorry for the word. My childhood was terrible. I suffered this, I suffered that. Then my husband, beat me. It's in the past. Don't bring it back. Just that kind of. I read something where, if somebody stab you with a knife, every time you remember that, you feel the same stabbing pain. It's like you doing it again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I think you have to stop that.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot wallow in. You say wallow? Yeah, wallow in that pain, because like Mara or like a victim mentality.
And it's okay. I mean, that's a highly traumatic event. So definitely seek someone that is professionally able to guide you in that situation. But exactly, it is a one day at a time type of thing. And
there is actually a book called The Legacy of the Heart. The Legacy of the Heart, and is about overcoming the pain of the childhood.
Yeah.
You know, how lucky you are that happened to you. I mean, even if you think, really lucky that happened to me, but it's the fact that how you overcome that and you become stronger.
And that's the trick, is looking at every single situation, no matter how dire it is, and flipping it on its head. That's the trick. That is a real trick. And even when you feel a certain way about, for example, painful neighbours or the noisy neighbours, and every time you see them, it's kind of like you want to judge them. It's like flipping it on your head. Like, I live in a beautiful neighbourhood. I have people around me, and it's being able to challenge and flip those things into a positive frame of mind. That's still a work in progress.
And I guess with neighbours, you could just make, bake a pie.
Yeah.
And and with no judgment,
giraffe,
no background.
Yeah.
Giraffe, no background, no past, nothing, no past, nothing. Just take the pie. The best smile, knock on the door and say, hey, I baked this cake. It doesn't have any poison, I promise you. I'm not going to kill you. It's just, let's start again.
Yeah, or even babies
be
smiling,
vulnerable.
waving.
Be vulnerable.
Be vulnerable, that's right.
Yes, and waving and saying good morning, not to wait for the other person to say good morning, because sometimes we just, okay, I'm waiting to see. If he says good morning, then I'll say good morning. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. It means just take the initiative and say,
right.
hi, good morning, how are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I see that your flowers are doing great. My cat is not peeing on them anymore.
Actually, I have got a scenario now. We're both in a procurement type of role, and this was a negotiation that we had on Friday with a vendor, and the situation was, it was a pure miscommunication. And the lass that we're working with, my colleague and I came along to this discussion. Two of these vendors came out to have a chat, and before that discussion, the communication was by email, and there was phone tagging, so they couldn't connect by phone properly, and emailing, and it got to the point where it was we didn't know what we were going to walk into, and it was going to be quite an awkward, uncomfortable situation, and we were expecting the vendor not to budge and blah 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 and be difficult and possibly go down legal sort of checks.
Oh, great.
Thankfully, we had a little bit of a game plan going in, and we really tapped into the tactical empathy. We said, okay, how we're going to kick off this meeting is we are going to let the vendor talk first, and how we're going to do that is we're going to ask them, what do they understand is the intention of this meeting? First question. I tell you what, that meeting ran so smoothly. The vendor felt so acknowledged and heard. We also did an accusation order. Mm-hmm. We understand that our communication and internal processes have let us down, blah, blah, blah. We're going to fix that. We're going to educate, blah, blah, blah. It was such a successful meeting. And
honest.
Yeah, it was honest. And everyone was heard. The vendor was acknowledged in a really empathetic way, which relaxed them. Mm-hmm. So it was
that is awesome. Exactly. It does, because I mean, if you come from a place of honesty, and you come from a place of and really caring about the other person, empathy, pure empathy, and saying, I can see you, I can see that you are a human being before you are a vendor. And that we also are human beings, and we are bound to make mistakes, but it doesn't mean that we want to hurt you.
Yeah. And you could even tell, because the energy of them coming into the room, you could tell there was nervous energy.
Of course.
You could tell there was pent-up, tense energy. And as soon as we threw that question to them, you could see them relax. You could see the brain starting to tick, and them oh, but we thought that it was a performance that you weren't happy with. No, that's not the case at all. So by us being able to use empathy and non-violent communication with them to really understand what they were thinking.
What is your need?
There were assumptions made our end on what they were thinking that were wrong. And it's kind of like, that was...
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, it's exactly non-violent, you know,
Yeah.
because when you say to the person, you know, what is the need that you have? Let's meet your need.
Yeah.
You know, and if you feel that your need is not met, you can say exactly what is it that the person did to you, not judgment, but
Yeah.
what the person did to you.
Yeah.
You didn't, you know, deliver the goods at such day, and this
Yeah.
caused these
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
That people know exactly what you're talking about,
Yeah.
rather than saying you are irresponsible,
Yeah.
because that's judgment and diagnostics, you know.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you say you did this, and now this is how it hurt me. Now
Yeah.
it's about feelings,
Yeah.
and what I want you to please do. Will
Yeah.
you be able to do this for me?
Yeah. And that comes
A
back
request,
to
not a demand.
Yeah, exactly. And that comes back to your point on being vulnerable. So being vulnerable is an awkward, uncomfortable thing, but what is it? Awkwardness is a necessary thing, but it also is a sign of accelerated learning. I think Chris Voss
Yeah.
mentioned that. So awkwardness is a good thing. It is. And to me on a very personal level, I connect easier with people that can be vulnerable in that way and really honest, and I respect leaders that have the guts to say, I stuffed up, I did it wrong, or I'm feeling this way, but still have the strength and bravery to push forward, push through. That to me is an amazing leader.
But also there is empathy, because sometimes
Yeah.
people may think that by being honest, they are honest about others, or they can say, oh, you did this to me, but
It's
in a
the
violent way,
Exactly, it's the way you're honest.
aggressive, you know.
Yeah, and the evaluation, the diagnosing, the blaming, that's violent. In a violent communication way, that's not honesty.
And that's not being
That's
vulnerable either.
That's motivated by,
By self-gratification. Yeah,
Exactly.
like by punishing, you know, I want to punish you by telling you, you know, you came
Yes.
late and you kept me waiting for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How dare you? But you don't say that.
Yeah.
You say, oh yes, you came late.
Actually, I haven't got to the part yet, but you might be there already with Marshall Rosenberg, where he thinks reward and punishment systems are bad, but he also says, interestingly enough, that reward language is also a bad thing, and it should be more from a position of gratitude. So I haven't actually got to those teachings
What
yet.
he is talking about is, because we now reward people, it has been a whole movement of rewarding and punishing people, and the whole system
In
is based on that, in
education,
education,
government,
everything, you know,
yeah.
jail. And so if you do something, so for instance, you know, people who do something that is seen as the right thing to do, that advances, you know, the politics of someone, they are given a reward by giving them the, you know, what is the Australian day? They give them the order of the Australia,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that's reward.
Yeah.
But if you do something wrong, then you go to jail or you are shamed.
Yeah.
But he said you don't need, if you want to reward somebody, like, so if you did say you did a talk
Yeah.
about something, this is what he's talking about. You did a talk and I come to you and I say, oh my God, you're great, I love it. It means nothing.
Yeah.
I'm great, you love it.
Don't believe your own proof.
Yeah, exactly. So you go this way, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody else comes along and says, that is terrible. You confuse me. Then you go that way.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause it's so
But if somebody comes to you and say, look, your talk made me believe in me again. That is telling you exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And that's the reward, because it's not praising you, it's what you did and
The impact.
how you enrich their life.
Well, we've also read an article that a friend shared with us about scarf neuroscience, and the principles behind that is that human beings basically have these needs: status, certainty,
certainty. You need
attunement. Is it
yes, I think so.
relatedness and fairness?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's it. I'm confused.
Oh, autonomy.
Autonomy.
Data certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. And when you think about different situations that you're in and conversations that you have, once you're aware of those principles, it's kind of like, oh, that person's just cares about their position, or that person is just looking for some certainty and some short, you know, some future certainty about where things are going. And it's interesting when you start to unpack it and start to listen.
I have to read it again because I read it a long time ago. I don't remember much about it, but I think, you know, because we all have these needs, and the needs need to be, you know, met by, you know, they need to be met by, you know, by either you or somebody else.
But it's just even having that basic awareness and being able to pick that when you're talking to people, that's underlying on what they're trying to achieve. It's quite eye-opening. It can be a light bulb moment when you're having conversations, and you can dig a bit deeper and go, that's what's really concerning them or upsetting them, or, you know. Or,
oh my God, it's going to take us forever to
will.
get better. You know, like it's you know, it's just. But anyway, this is something that we're trying to do, and you know, as we said before, resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile. That's right.
So we'll see you next time, and I hope, you know, that we have contributed a little bit, if you know, with our, you know, craziness, what is going on with our lives. And we'll see you next time. If you like our channel, please subscribe to it and like it as well.
Lovely.
So namaste.
Namaste.